Christmas is right around the corner, and if you're looking for a unique way to give a gift, I've got you covered. Sometimes when you don't know what to get somebody, the best thing you can do is just give them money. They say money always fits, right? So I'm going to take one of the Christmas trees from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to show you how you can decorate it up using money. To get started on creating my money ornaments, I'm using some pipe cleaners and I'm just cutting them in half. I also have this silver mesh ribbon on hand. I cut a piece that was about the same length as the dollar bill I'm using. Now, starting at the bottom of the dollar bill, I'm just accordion pleating the whole thing until I get to the other side. Once I have that folded up like a fan, then I'm just going to place that mesh ribbon right behind it. I just cinched it in the middle a bit, and then I'm using that pipe cleaner from the front onto the back, and then I'm just giving it a few twists to hold both of those pieces together. Then all I needed to do was fan out both sides of my dollar bill. It created something that looked like a bow tie, and because I have that mesh ribbon behind it, it added a little extra sparkle. Now, the great thing about this is you can use any denomination of money that you'd like, and if you're not in the US and you don't have this type of money, it'll work with any type of paper money. And since I didn't use any type of adhesive on the paper, it's not going to damage it at all. I'm going to show you a little bit closer here. So I'm starting again at the bottom of my dollar bill, and I'm just folding it like an accordion until I get to the other side. And again, I'm just using a piece of that mesh ribbon. I liked this ribbon because it's a bit thinner and it doesn't have any wire in it, so I didn't have any trouble wrapping it around the back side. You could also use tulle here in place of the ribbon. And then once I had that pipe cleaner in the center, I gave it a few twists and I fanned everything out, and that little bit of ribbon just gave it an extra sparkle. The Christmas trees at the Dollar Tree come in green and white. I happen to have a white one on hand, so that's what I'm using. It does have little legs in the box so you can stand it upright. They're not the fullest looking Christmas trees, but when you're giving it in a gift like this situation, it's okay. I just did my best to fan the branches out as best as I could and make it into a better shape. Now, the main focus on this tree is going to be those little money ornaments, but I did want to add a pop of color to this white tree. I grabbed a container of this mini garland from the Dollar Tree. It has a thin wire running through it, so it's really easy to use, and I just wove it back and forth on my Christmas tree. I'm using the pipe cleaners from the money ornaments just to twist around the branches of the Christmas tree to decorate it the whole way down. Now, another idea I had, if you want to give lottery tickets to somebody, you could use some mini clothespins and you could pin some lottery tickets all over the front of this tree. Or if you wanted to do a complete gift set with the money too, you could attach the money to the tree and then maybe give them some of the mini ornaments from the Dollar Tree, maybe a fairy light set and one of the mini tree skirts. And after they take the money off of the tree, they could decorate it with the things you gave them and display it. Also, keep this idea in mind if you have to do a giveaway for something. I know this time of year, a lot of times there's basket parties and different things that people need donations for, and this would be a great way to do a quick donation for a giveaway for a different raffle or basket party. Maybe you have a kiddo in your life that needs some extra cash and they like candy too. This is a great way to give them both. You'll need some sort of container for this. I'm just using a soup can that I washed out and dried really well. I grabbed this little penguin ornament from the Dollar Tree. You could also use a little stuffed animal that would fit in the can if you needed to. And then I'm going to use some candy canes and some different chocolates. If you're using a container other than a soup can, you can probably skip this step, but because this soup can had one of the pop tops on it, that inner part of the top was really sharp. You can see the band-aid on my hand there. That's from when I was washing it and I cut myself. So in order to make this a little more safe to give to somebody, I took some of this silver duct tape from the Dollar Tree. I ran it along the top edge and I'm just cutting tabs into it. This will make it easier. Now I can fold all of these little tabs towards the inside of the can. And because this is duct tape, it's nice and thick, and it added a layer of protection against that really sharp edge. You can see here, once I had all those tabs pushed down, I was able to run my finger along it and it was no longer sharp. I'm using some glitter cardstock to cover up the rest of the can. I just laid the can down right below the top lip and I made a pencil mark at the bottom of the can, and then I used my paper trimmer to cut the strip that I needed. If you don't have glitter cardstock, you could use regular paper here, or you could even use wrapping paper, just something to cover up the can. Once I had it wrapped the whole way around the can, I made another mark with my pencil and I cut the excess off so that it would fit around the can. Next, I'm just using some hot glue and I ran a pretty generous amount along the body of the can. Just be careful when you're doing this because the metal will heat up really, really fast and it gets warm quicker than what you realized. Then, because this cardstock is pretty thick, I just added a few beads of hot glue here and there as I wrapped it around. And once I got to the edge, I just used more hot glue to connect it to where I started. Before I started putting everything together, I needed to roll up some of the money that I wanted to add. I'm using this invisible tape that I got at the Dollar General. Any kind of tape that has that frosty look to it tends to not be as sticky as the clear tape, so that's what you want to keep in mind here. If you feel like the tape you're using is a bit too sticky, just take a piece and rub it on a t-shirt or a piece of cloth just to get some of the stickiness off of it, because you don't want to damage this money in any way. So I'm just taking my money and I'm rolling it up into a smallish size tube. I tried to keep it about the same width as the candy canes, and then I used a piece of that clear tape just to hold the two ends together. The candy canes and the money are going to go the whole way around the outside of the can. Now obviously I don't want to use hot glue on the money, so what I did was I used some hot glue to glue the candy cane to the outside of the can. Then I just laid down one of my rolled up dollar bills to act as a spacer, so I knew how much space to leave between each of the candy canes. So you can see here, once I laid that dollar bill in, then I added more hot glue and I placed the candy cane on top of it. I just did that the whole way around until I got back to the beginning. As I got towards the end of the can, I did have to adjust the spacing a little bit, but that was okay. Every time I glued one of the candy canes down, I just made sure that the hook was facing towards the outside. After all of my candy canes were glued in place, then I just took a rubber band and I slipped it around the whole thing. This created just enough tension around the can that I was able to slip my rolled up dollar bills in between each of the candy canes. This way they can be slid in and out and there's no damage to the money itself. Also keep in mind, you don't have to add the money at all. If you wanted to just give a gift of candy, you could just glue candy canes the whole way around this can. There's enough space in between each of those candy canes that you could just glue another one and just have the whole can wrapped in candy canes. I think that would be really cute, especially if you got some of the different flavors of candy cane. It would really change up the color and pattern. To cover up where that rubber band was sitting and to give a little more stability to the candy canes and the money, I'm just using some peppermint striped ribbon here and I hot glued that around the can. I made sure that I only added the hot glue to the candy cane so that the money wouldn't get damaged. I also created a small bow out of the same ribbon. I just took one loop of the ribbon and I cinched it in the center using another small piece of the same ribbon. It kind of gave it that bow tie look. And then I just used some hot glue to attach that to the side of the can. My last step to finish this gift off was just to fill the can with some different chocolates that I had got from the Dollar Tree, and then I was able to set my penguin right down on top. I made a set of Christmas cards on my channel recently, and you all had a lot of nice things to say about those cards. So I thought it would be fun to create another set of note cards that could be used for every day. And I'm also going to show you how to package them so that you can include a gift card. The Dollar Tree has these new A2 size cards out. They're just blank cards. I found them at my store in craft color, white, and off-white. And I also grabbed a few packs of stickers from the Dollar Tree. I found these really cool ones that look like wax seals and some gold butterflies. I'm using the craft colored cards today just because those are my favorite, and hang on to the bag that they came in because that's what we're going to use as the packaging. It has a sticky strip along the bottom that makes it really easy to open and reseal. I'm starting with one of the craft color cards, and I have this sheer ribbon that I got at the Dollar Tree a while ago. I'm just adding a small amount of hot glue to one side of it, and I'm wrapping the ribbon the whole way around. Once I got to the other side, I cut off the excess, and then I added another small amount of hot glue. Don't worry that you can see the glue through it because we'll be covering that up later. Once my glue was set, I just took one of those stickers that looks like a wax seal and I placed it right on top to cover up where that glue was. Now this pack of gold butterflies has so many different ones in it and I think they're so pretty. I picked one out and I tucked it behind the ribbon and I just added it to the front of the card. You could add more stickers or more embellishments to this card if you like, but I really like the simplicity of just the ribbon and the few stickers. There's a lot of different ways that you can decorate these cards. The first one I did landscape. The second one I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to do it more I guess it would be portrait, like you're going to open it like a book. So for this one, I'm doing the same thing here where I started with that sheer ribbon. I dovetailed the ends this time and I added a little bit of hot glue and I wrapped it around again and glued the other end underneath where I had glued the first one so that that dovetail ribbon hung down below. And once again, I'm just taking one of these stickers that look like a wax seal and I'm placing it right over where the glue was so that it hides that. And then I picked out another butterfly sticker and I stuck it in the corner of this card. So you can see these cards are really simple, but they're easy to do and I think they're super pretty. If you're new to paper crafting, this style of note card is a great way to get started because you don't need any special tools and you don't even need any scrapbook paper. You can let the stickers and the ribbon do the work for you. I decided to make my set of note cards just a set of 5. The card packs from the Dollar Tree do come with 10, so you could do all 10 if you wanted to. Now, like I said, we're going to reuse that bag to repackage these up. So I picked out my favorite card and I made sure that was on top and I added my 5 envelopes to the back side of it. And then I just flipped it around. The seal on this bag is at the bottom on the back. So you want to make sure that you're putting it back in the same way. So you can see the seals on the back there at the bottom. Now I know that branding is at the top. So we're going to cover that up using some of this glitter paper from the Crafter Square section of the Dollar Tree. This is a vinyl paper. Normally you would use this with a cutting machine, but we don't need to use a cutting machine for this. I'm just going to cut a strip of it so that it's a little bit wider than the top of my packaging. And after I peeled off the backer, I'm just lining it up at the base of that branding strip at the top to cover it all up. Now, because this is adhesive paper, I was able to stick it right over top of there. I did have to cut off some of the excess so that it wouldn't hang over too far. And then I just folded it over and stuck it down on the back side and it covered all of that up with no problem. Then I went through with my scissors and I just cut the excess off of each side. Now you could definitely just leave it like this, or you could even put a gift tag on if you wanted to. I just created a simple bow using that same sheer ribbon that I used on the note cards. I put that in the corner and then once again I used one of those wax seal stickers and I placed it over the top. If you're adding a gift card to this, don't forget to slip that in the back before you seal it up. My mom loves to loom knit, and recently at my Dollar Tree, they started carrying these looms for loom knitting. So I thought it would be fun to put together a gift basket that I can customize for my mom. I also grabbed one of these storage containers from the Dollar Tree. This is one of those collapsible ones that has the fabric on the outside. And then also in the Crafter Square section, I do have a cutting machine, so I grabbed a pack of their glitter iron-on so that I could personalize this for her. HTVRONT was kind enough to send me their new auto heat press 2-digit to try out and to use on some of the gifts that I want to customize this year for Christmas. The digital display at the top of the heat press is really easy to read, and with the guide at the bottom, it's really easy to understand how to use it to set the temperature, the time, and the pressure that you need for whatever project you're working on. As it's heating up, the start button flashes red, so you know that it's it's not quite time to get started yet. Once it turns green, then you're ready to press. I'm going to be customizing this storage container that I got, and I wanted to put my mom's name on it. My mom is Karen, so using that glitter iron-on that I bought from the Dollar Tree, I cut her name out using my cutting machine. It was really easy to just slide the pad out and place my storage container on top of it. I centered my mom's name where I wanted it on the front, and then this heat press does come with a Teflon sheet, so I was able to lay that right over top of it and slide the whole thing back in. There is a safety feature on it. If you don't have that bottom pad slid the whole way in, you won't be able to press, but once it is slid into place, you just hit start, it lowers itself down, and the timer begins. Once the timer is done, it will raise itself back up, and then I was able to remove that Teflon sheet and slide the drawer back out and wait for my transfer to cool. Once it was cool to the touch, I was able to peel off that backer sheet that transferred my mom's name to the front of the container, and I was really impressed how it looked on the front. I really like the glitter, and I think she'll like it too. To finish off this little storage container for my mom, I wanted to put it together like you would a gift basket. So I started by putting a bunch of paper shred in the bottom, and then I did buy one of the knitting looms for myself, so I made her a little winter headband using the loom that I had bought. And then I grabbed a couple different kinds of yarn from the Dollar Tree, one of the knitting looms, and then they also sell these little round containers that you can put yarn in to keep it more organized. Keep this gift in mind for any of your friends or family that are crafty and maybe want to start a new hobby. The Dollar Tree has a bunch of iron-on transfers and iron-on patches that you could use to make a really cute gift for a teacher. I want to show you how you can use those iron-on transfers and a blank notebook in the heat press. The heat press works the same on the notebook as it does on anything fabric. I just placed the notebook on the sliding pad, and then I added my transfer to the front of it. I covered it up with that Teflon sheet, slid the drawer back in, and pressed start, and the auto press did its thing. I grabbed a container from the Dollar Tree to put together this teacher gift. I also grabbed a few school supplies. My mom is a retired school teacher, and I know that teachers always really appreciate when they get a gift for the classroom. I put those in the container along with the notebook that I just put the iron-on transfer on. And keep in mind, this type of gift would be great for anyone in your life who is in school, whether it's a teacher or a student. Now, let's say you already bought a gift for someone, but you'd rather give it to them in something that's a little more personable and not just a gift bag. You can find these really cute iron-on transfers on Amazon. They come in a whole bunch of different designs and with a bunch of different sayings on them. These are fairly inexpensive, and it's a great way to be able to customize something even if you don't have a cutting machine. I picked one of the designs out that I really liked, and I also grabbed one of these blank tote bags from Michaels. The heat press makes it really easy to get this image onto the tote bag. I just smoothed the tote bag over the pad, and then I lined my image up where I wanted it. I centered it on the front of the bag. I covered it with that Teflon sheet again. I hit start, and the heat press did all the work for me. Keep in mind also, if you do have a cutting machine, you could cut the person's name out that you want to give this tote bag to, and you could still use that transfer from Amazon. You could line that up, and then you could place their name underneath it. And because the pad is so big on this heat press, you would be able to press both of them at the same time. I do want to mention that HTVRONT is having a Black Friday sale. They did give me a discount code too if you'd like to order this new auto heat press 2-digit. And also keep in mind, if you know somebody that maybe wants to start a small business in the new year, whether it's customizing t-shirts or tote bags or anything like this, the auto heat press itself would also make a great Christmas gift. I'll have links down in the description box below to the HTVRONT website with the Black Friday sale, and also links to the auto heat press 2-digit. Thank you again to HTVRONT for sending me this heat press. I really had a lot of fun using it. Thanks so much for coming to hang out in the craft room with me again today. If you need even more Christmas crafting inspiration, check out one of the videos I left on the screen. All right, everyone, I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you in the next one.